Or they try to.
Welcome to the Pittsburgh Business Virgin, where we interview successful business owners to educate the virgin segment of the population who are thinking about starting their own businesses. I'm your host, Brad Hilbert, president of Three Rivers Wealth Management Group.
Welcome to this segment of the Pittsburgh Business Virgin. We are here today with Jeff Sessano, a franchise owner of Massage Envy in Squirrel Hill. Jeff's background includes a Robert Morris management degree, extensive experience in the airline industry, and his own cleaning business. Jeff also owns an LED and business sign business called A Visual Image Marketing. He also keeps himself busy by giving back to local charities. Currently, he's in charge of all the 50 finest events benefiting cystic fibrosis. Thanks, Jeff, for coming in today. How are you?
Good, great. Thanks for having me.
Jeff, thanks for coming down. Hey, we wanted to start off this segment by just talking to you about Massage Envy, which actually my wife utilizes your guys' services and has always been very happy with it. How'd you come up with, what made you decide to buy a franchise with Massage Envy? I mean, there's probably a lot of things you could have done with your capital. Why Massage Envy?
Well, the first thing was we actually did a lot of signs for Massage Envy. It's a 600 franchise nationwide, and we got the bid, and we started with the one in Cranberry, the first one in Pittsburgh. And we kept doing these signs, and I kept hearing them, oh, this is a good concept. And at the time, it was a me generation. There was a lot of extra capital, like 4 or 5 years ago. And it was $39 for the hour and then $49 for a membership once a month. So to me, it was a great deal, you know. It was a no-brainer.
So you saw the value as far as people wanting to utilize the services overall?
Yep. Yeah. To me, I thought it was a no-brainer because, again, like it's a me generation, and then it was great, you know, because people were having fun with it, and I thought it was a great value for everybody. So.
Sounds good. Mm-hmm. Now, why did, a lot of people right now are leaving corporate America, either by choice or, by circumstance. What made you leave corporate America and start your own franchise?
When I first started out of college, I had a lot of airline background, and every airline I went to closed behind me. I was Pan Am, TWA, Jet Train. So I've never had job security. So for me, this was like 20 years in the making. So I figured, hey, I might as well start myself. And I've always paralleled as another business with a regular job. Like I worked for FedEx, Procter & Gamble, different bigger companies, and even U.S. Airways at the end. I was in Las Bags at the end. So usually I would parallel both companies and then both careers, and then I would cut off at the end like I did with Massage Envy.
How'd you come up with the startup money? So I mean, I'm guessing Massage Envy, like most franchise models, have some level of uptick that you have to bring, capital that you have to bring to the table to even have the right to purchase the franchise. How'd you come up with it, and what do you see? I guess the one thing I'd also be interested in hearing on is how has that environment changed, do you think, today versus sort of when you purchased your Massage Envy franchise?
The first thing I would say is, well, for my situation, it was when we were all dealing with this like 5 years ago. What I did was I used a couple of my rental properties for collateral. I had an SBA loan, and the SBA loans are traditionally more strict than a regular loan, but you don't have to collateralize a lot. And a lot of times, if you go to a bank without an SBA loan, you have to put as much money in that you need. So like Massage Envy was close to $300,000 to get into it, so you would have to liquidate your assets, put in $300,000 in liquid funds into their funds. So you were getting hit both ways as far as like selling and buying stock, putting into like say PNC funds, and then you would have to borrow against it. And that's how they could say that's what the trend is now. And I used to work for PNC as a business banker, but back then they were a little bit more lenient on. Now it's really, really hard to get a loan, I think, as a lot of people know. So I mean, that I was lucky enough, and I was in that time of frame where, back then it was a little bit more lenient. But still, there's always been guidelines where they're just not going to give you $300,000 or $400,000 and not expect anything back for it. And you're going to have a good business plan and whatnot. And usually going with a franchise, that's all set in place. But it's all demographics. It's all it's all like Pittsburgh's a little bit more, like I always say, we're 5 years behind in a way, because people, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to catch up. Like Phoenix, you open one and they have like 7,000 members in one day. And we're like a traveling sideshow.
Let's go to Phoenix. Let's leave now and go to Phoenix.
We do like events every day, like networking charity events, and we're doing fine. But I mean, like I said, in Baltimore, they don't have to advertise. Yeah,
different demographics. Of course, we might get kidnapped if we go to Phoenix.
That's true.
Open up a massage center.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. We're going to take a short break. You can check out the rest of the interview with Jeff at PittsburghBusinessVirgin.com. And also make sure you go see Jeff at his Massage Envy store in Squirrel Hill. Where first-time customers, $39 for an hour massage and $49 for facials. He's actually the only store in town giving the facials. So go see Jeff. You can also check him out at MassageEnvy.com. And we'll see you in a few minutes.
Thanks, Jeff.
Because you can't print your own money without going to the Slammer. Three Rivers Wealth Management Group in Pittsburgh for Pittsburghers. TRWMG.com. That's TRWMG.com.